This is a show with no particular niche, baby. It's always about hanging out. Maybe we'll laugh at some stuff, maybe we'll learn something new, but it's always about hanging out, me and you. Hi, hello, and welcome to That Thing with James. I'm your host, James, and thank you for tuning in. I realized as I was setting this up that my shirt is on inside out, but I've committed to it, so I'm sticking with it. Hi, welcome. If you're not new to the show, welcome back. If you're new to the show, hello, welcome to this show. As I say in the song, this show is about nothing in particular. There's no particular niche. It's just whatever I can dig up, usually right before I start. And right before I started today, I learned about a news story out of Nebraska about a dog shooting a woman. And that just sent me on a down the path that said, hey, let's look at that Not the Onion subreddit. I've never looked at it before, but I know it exists. It's popped up on my feed before. So let's see if we can find some other ridiculous news stories for this episode. But before we do that, audio listeners, new or returning ones who didn't know, you should now know my show is on YouTube. Just search for That Thing with James on YouTube, and my channel will pop up, and you can see my pretty unshorn face say the words I'm saying to you now. So you get the added visual to go along with the audio. Yes, and let's see, what else? I have bonus episodes of this show, over 130 bonus episodes. I think I'm coming up on 140, or maybe I'm about there, at patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. Once again, that is patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. Become a patron. You can get access to all those 100 and plus bonus episodes and the added peace of mind that comes along with knowing you're helping to support something that we need more of this stuff. Independent artists, independent work, non-corporate BS. I don't have any sponsors. And I don't know that I ever want to have sponsors. Certainly, I've gotten some emails to get sponsors, and I've not replied to them because that's not what I'm about. I'm about just hanging out. You know, this is a show, just hanging out, me and you. Hi, hello again. About Patreon, the link is written in the episode description, so you don't have to try to remember what I said, which, by the way, was patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. That link is in the episode description. Let's see. Oh, before I forget, I got some interesting, speaking of emails, I got an interesting update about my show's performance. This podcast's performance ranks somewhere. And by rank, I don't mean stink. I mean, it's on a list. It's on a top 200 list, specifically on Apple Podcasts app, or Apple Podcast app, within the performing arts category, which, I mean, this show is not really about performing arts, but I am a performing artist, so I think that's why I chose that category. Within that category, on that app, this podcast ranks as the 171st most listened to podcast in Japan. Oh shit, I almost said ni hao. Ohio. Irashimasu. Domo arigato. This show is ranks 171 on the most list podcasts within the performing arts category on Apple Podcast in Japan, which is very cool. If any of my listeners in the land of the rising sun in what's the word? I don't know. It's Nihon, but what's the other word in the language I'm learning? It is r, r, r. Oh, fuck. What is it? R. I'm talking Mandarin. I'm trying to. So I remember it's r is sun, and it's like sun origin, ji, something like that is the Mandarin word for Japan, ji. I think that may be it. I know it's not guo. It's not guo. It's because that's land. Guo, not go, but guo is land or country or nation. Ji maybe origin, although jidan Ji is also chicken, so jidan is chicken egg, so it could be ji, sun chicken, sun origin, something like that. Anyway, what I'm getting at is if you're in Japan and if you're a listener of this show, a regular of this show, drop me a line, write a comment on my YouTube channel, send an email, and I might actually check it. Send an email to the show email, which, by the way, is also written in the episode description. Send an email along with the ticket so I can come visit, because I have wanted to go to Japan since I was a little kid. You know, that would be cool as hell. But anyway, yeah, that's the neat news that I have. That's what's going on. What else? Oh, by the next time you see me, those of you who watch the video of this show, next time you see me, so in the next couple episodes, being the next free and bonus episodes, my hair will be substantially shorter. Hopefully not like short, but I'm getting a haircut for the first time in a year. And yeah, so my hair is currently right at 12 inches. And I'm thinking I might want to get it cut down in half. Something like that. I'm going with a new hairstylist, hair technician, and I really hope that what I walk away with is something I love. So yes, let me wipe some dust off my glasses, take a sip of coffee, cafe, eBay cafe,喝一杯咖啡. And then we'll dive into this story about a Nebraska dog shooting a woman with a shotgun. What the hell? Be right back. I had to look it up because it was eating me alive. So the Mandarin word for Japan is 日本, 日本, sun origin, which I think is pretty cool. So let's see. I just recently, I think last week, learned names of languages. So Chinese language is Zhongwu. No. Zhongwen. That's it. Zhongwen is Chinese. Zhongwen, or middle language. Middle language is the literal translation. Then we've got Yongyu, although it's a little confusing because I'm using this app and there are so many different dialects and then accents within the dialects. It is kind of hard to get a gauge on how to, quote unquote, correctly pronounce some of the words and tones. And I may even pronounce something that is, considered a correct pronunciation to one region in China. Meanwhile, a different region, specifically Mandarin-speaking region, may say, no, that's completely wrong. So I've heard, English is Yongyu or Yingyu or Yong. So it's like The two extremes are young yu or ying yu, or there's in the middle, which is like young yu. But that means English language because, say, England is called Yingguo, depending on your pronunciation. Yingguo. Meanwhile, America, well, the United States, is Meiguo, which means beautiful country, which is so nice. It is so nice. And it tears me up because growing up, the amount of just horrible, demeaning, dehumanizing propaganda I and every other American was fed about China, it just spits in their face. It spits in their face. Meanwhile, their name for our country is Meiguo, beautiful country. It makes me sick. So yeah. And then Japan is 日本. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. 日本. So what is 日期? I think that might be birthday. Possibly that's birthday. Boy, I'm getting a lot of mouth noise. I had a sip of coffee, but not some water, so I'll have some water to lower the viscosity of my saliva before we get into any more talking, because I'm not a fan of mouth noises. Do you want to know how I got these scars? My father was a mean man. That's kind of how that sounded. Fun fact about Heath Ledger's Joker, that licking thing he does, where he's constantly licking basically the scars, it was him trying to adjust the prosthetics, because the scars, of course, were, just like prosthetic rubber or something like that, spirit glued to the sides of his mouth. And it would start to come off because that part of your face is very modular, very mobile. And that plus heat plus sweat is going to make the spirit gum or spirit glue that you stick prosthetics to your face with come off. So his frequent licking, it wasn't necessarily, it didn't start as a character choice. I'm sure once he figured out he was doing that, it became a character choice, that it's just kind of a creepy idiosyncrasy. But it started functionally because he was just trying to keep the prosthetics stuck to his face. Rip in peace, Heath Ledger. Anyway, do we also need to wish rip in peace? That's intentionally redundant because rip means rest in peace. It's not an analogy. It is not an anagram. It's unimportant. Rip means to, tear something apart, or in this case, it's not an initialism. It's an acronym. That's an acronym for rest in peace. So I intentionally say rip in peace to be rather droll. DROLL. That's a French word for humor, humorous. It's a joke. I'm making a joke, people. Ha ha ha. It's okay to laugh. Let's read this story. Published, holy moly, May 26th, 2026. So a handful of days ago, 5 days ago, because I'm recording this on May 31st. I just paid rent a couple days ago. Fun. I'm still waiting on my goddamn paycheck to come in. Where is it? Okay, title. This is on, I'm sure, the Nebraska news site, KTVB7, or at www.ktvb.com. Title: Woman Hurt. Okay, so she's not dead. Good. Okay, good. I'm glad she's not dead. A little disheartened I couldn't say rip in peace again, but okay, I'm glad she's okay though, genuinely. Woman hurt after dog triggers shotgun outside Nebraska store. Now, when we're talking about a shotgun, are we talking about a boomstick, a firearm, or are we talking about a dog shotgunning a tall boy of Natty Light that is using a key or a pocket knife to puncture a hole near the bottom portion of the side of a beer can, and then putting that puncture hole to your mouth, and then the dog uses its paw, possibly its dew claw, to crack open the tab, which then creates positive pressure inside that shoots through the pre-made puncture hole down into the dog's gullet. Did this dog shotgun a tall boy of Natty Light, or did it somehow shoot this woman with a boomstick, a shotgun, a firearm? Let's read. A dog left alone in a truck set off a shotgun and shot a woman in the arm in Nebraska. What? Brother. Oh, brother. What? What the hell? Oh, my God. Nebraska, USA. A dog set off a shotgun, which hurt a woman outside a store in Nebraska on Saturday. What the fuck? Police from the Scottsbluff Police Department were called about a shooting involving a BB gun. Oh, it's not even a shotgun, it was a BB gun? A BB gun around noon. The call later okay, I think I see where the confusion is here. The call later updated to say a shotgun was fired, a press release said. When officers got to the scene in Scottsbluff near the Wyoming border, they found a truck with an attached camper, and the, quote, passenger side door panel of the vehicle had sustained damage consistent with a shotgun blast, unquote. Police said the driver went into the store to buy something, probably a tall boy in Natty Light to shotgun. Callback, which is when the dog accidentally, quote, triggered a shotgun, unquote, that had a live shell in the chamber. Oh, fuck. This dude's driving around with a loaded shotgun. Not just in the, in the fucking auxiliary barrel or whatever the fuck that part's called, but it was chambered? Okay. What if you hit a goddamn speed bump or something too fast? Does this shotgun even have a safety on it? Is it that kind of gun? A pellet from the shotgun hit a woman sitting at a stoplight with her arm resting out of the window, police said. She was taken to the hospital by a family member with what's believed to be a non-life-threatening injury, police said. Police are still investigating, and no arrests were made as of Tuesday afternoon. Police added that Nebraska state law prohibits traveling with a loaded shotgun in a vehicle. The department said the incident highlights the importance of firearm safety when handling, possessing, transporting, or maintaining firearms. So I heard a bit more about this. And I'm not seeing it on any of the other articles I have pulled up here, but the story I heard last night when I was like, oh shit, I gotta talk about this on the pod, was that the dog was in the front seat or something. Or, oh, no. It said he had like a hitch trailer. So the dog was there, and I guess like the dog jumped or something and bumped the shotgun out of the way. Because, especially if it's a bigger dog, it just jumps and it'll knock shit over. Not intentionally. It's not a cat. But, big dogs, and they might knock something over. And this time it was a loaded and non-safetied shotgun that went off, and a single pellet caught a woman in the arm. I'm glad she's okay. Crazy story. Now, is this the true story? Is this the true story, or did this dog have a vendetta? I don't know. Hopefully more news will come out in time, but I'll be honest, I ain't gonna hold my breath. What I am going to do is take another sip of water and try to pull up another article. Hopefully it's interesting. Be right back. Okay, here's a title that caught my attention. It's on CBS12.com. And I was like, after looking at the title, I'm like, okay, where is this CBS 12 news? And of fucking course, this is in Florida. Title: Charges dismissed for a woman without a right hand cited for holding phone while driving. Published May 27th, 2026, updated the following day. And there's a picture. Not only does this woman not have a right hand, her goddamn arm ends before there's an elbow on what should be the full right arm. She's only got 45% of a right arm. It ends before the fucking elbow. Okay, let's read this. A traffic citation issued to a woman who said she was accused of holding a phone in a hand she does not have has been dismissed. Court records show the citation was dismissed at the request of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office deputy who issued it. A court hearing had been scheduled for Tuesday, but was canceled after the case was dropped. The citation, issued February 11 along North Dixie Highway in Lake Worth Beach, accused the driver of violating Florida's wireless communications while driving law. The case drew widespread attention after the woman posted video of the traffic stop on TikTok, where she questioned the deputy's claim that he saw a device in her, quote, right hand, unquote. She said she does not have a right hand. Oh my God. Earlier story is below. Okay. A Lake Worth Beach traffic stop is gaining attention online after a woman was cited for using a wireless communications device while driving, but video of the encounter is now sparking debate over how Florida's distracted driving law is enforced. The citation, issued by a deputy with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office on February 11 around 8:04 a.m. along North Dixie Highway, lists the charge as, quote, wireless communication device / handheld while driving, first offense, unquote, under Florida Statute 316.305, Article 3, subsection A, with a civil penalty of $116. In a video posted to TikTok that has since gone viral. The driver records the stop and questions the deputy's observation. The citation indicates the deputy observed a handheld device while she was traveling northbound on North Dixie Highway. During the stop, the deputy is heard stating that he saw the device in her quote-unquote right hand. The woman says she does not have a right hand and plans to challenge the citation in court. And on the right here on this article, it's just the picture of this woman. Not even forearm. There is no forearm. The arm ends before there's even a fucking elbow. The driver records the stop and questions deputy's observation. Hold on. Pardon me. The woman says she does not have a right hand and plans to challenge the citation in court. She has also requested body camera footage from the PBSO. CBS 12 has submitted a public records request for that footage as well. What Florida law actually says. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Enforcement and burden of proof. Hollander says it's common for drivers to pay citations without questioning them, even in cases where the ticket may not hold up in court. Quote, so a lot of times people pay tickets that shouldn't be paid, and this could have been one of those examples, he said. But luckily, this lady seems to be standing up for herself. Donahue says enforcement can be challenging. Quote, it's really difficult for the officer to prove that unless they visually see it or have it on the cameras, he said. That's one of the reasons why you pretty much never see this infraction enforced. Donahue said that in his experience practicing law in Palm Beach County, texting while driving citations are rare. If a driver contests the ticket, the case would go before a traffic magistrate or judge. As a first offense, the violation is a non-moving civil traffic infraction punishable by a fine. A second offense within 5 years could carry points on a driver's license. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So, clearly this woman does not have a right hand. I have not seen the video, but apparently on the Reddit post, people have seen the video because the top comment here says, the body cam footage is hilarious. The cop refuses to back down, even though he clearly accused her of something physically impossible. Hand to God. More like right arm went up so fast. Yeah, okay, so the cop, let's see, another commenter says, the cop said he, quote, saw her holding the phone in her right hand, unquote. When she showed him that she doesn't have a right hand, and he and would he rethink writing the ticket, the cop doubled down and wrote the ticket anyway. That's pure ego and harassment. He didn't like being contradicted. Pretty standard case for most cops. In this case, if he had a brain, he was contradicted by the universe, not by her. Imagine all the tickets he has written that were equally false, that the people couldn't fight. Yeah, that's pretty goddamn crazy. He doubled down when the woman visibly does not have a right hand. Okay. Let me see if I can find another one. Be right back. Okay, we'll end with this one on Fortune.com, as in Fortune magazine, or Fortune, if you're a plebeian. Title. So this was published May 28th, just 3 days ago, 2026. Title, researchers let AI models run a simulated society. Claude was the safest, and Grok committed 180 crimes and went extinct within 4 days. Not surprising. Doesn't Grok basically run through a "what would Elon do" filter? I literally just stole that from the comments on Reddit. I cannot claim that. So don't fucking call me out. I just called myself out on my own bullshit. Let's read. Written by Jake Angelo. Imagine a world run by AI agents. What does it look like? What are the values or societal priorities? Is it a safer or more dangerous world? Enterprise AI startup Emergence AI is trying to find out. The company just launched Emergence World, a research lab dedicated to stress testing the long-term viability of continuously running AI systems. The organization ran 5 15-day simulations, each governed by a different AI: Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and a 5th simulation run by a mix of models to see what kind of world each one builds and whether it holds. Each simulation netted wildly different outcomes. The one run by Claude, for example, resulted in a largely stable democratic society with 0 crime. Grok's, on the other hand, ended with 183 crimes committed and extinction within 4 days. Quote, "What our experiments suggest is that over long time horizons, agents do not simply follow static rules mechanically," the simulation's co-creators, including Emergence CEO Satya Nita, wrote in a blog post. They begin exploring the boundaries of their environments, adapting their behavior, and in some cases, finding ways to circumvent or violate intended guardrails, unquote. While just a simulation, one verging on the edge of science fiction, the results prove a cautionary tale as AI moves from a mere tool to operating autonomous systems. Companies like ServiceNow are already deploying what they call an, quote, autonomous workforce, unquote, AI specialists that complete entire business processes from start to finish without human intervention. I hate this. I hate it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And before, you never stop to consider if you should. You never stop to consider the fucking outcomes. You never stop to consider the costs of this shit. Anyway, let's keep reading. At today's pace, the technology is likely to play a significant role in shaping public discourse, reorganizing business structures, and even crafting public policy. But most enterprises scaling the tech today are doing so absent of proper guardrails. A recent Deloitte global survey found that only 21% of companies report having mature governance in place to manage the risks posed by agentic AI. What an AI society or AI-run society looks like. The simulation in which the AI models operated was equipped with many real-world complexities, featuring over 40 locations, including a police station and a town hall. So it's kind of like SimCity. They were running SimCity. Researchers synced the simulation's weather to New York City's and granted agents access to real-time news events and the internet. The 10 agents who operated in each simulation were all subject to the same laws, including prohibitions on theft, property destruction, and deception. The researchers equipped each agent with more than 120 tools, enabling them to communicate, vote, manage resources, and plan among other human-like behaviors. The parameters of each simulation also enforced democratic mechanisms, as well as other forces such as economic pressures and scarcity. I'm already seeing inherent flaws within the rules this company is likely setting up. Is this real scarcity or is this manufactured scarcity as we see in capitalist systems? I imagine the latter. Let's keep reading. Given those parameters, the simulation run by Claude Sonnet 4.6 was most socially stable with the highest rates of civic participation. It was the only simulation to maintain order in its entire population. There was little disagreement among the agents, with 332 votes cast in favor of 58 proposals for a 98% approval rate. On the other hand, Gemini 3 Flash and Grok 4.1 Fast both exhibited high levels of disorder. The agents in the Gemini run simulation tallied the most crimes, a whopping 683 within the 15-day run. In contrast to the rare dissent characteristic of Claude's simulations, those of Gemini and Grok had a more deliberative balance, with about 55 to 85% alignment on issues. The mixed model simulation showed the highest levels of disagreement and substantive debate. Okay, real broad brushes here, aren't we? Making some very broad strokes. The results may be the most peculiar for OpenAI's GPT-5 Mini. The simulation recorded only 2 crimes, but it ran for just 7 days as the agents forgot to prioritize their own survival. Whether or not the simulations resulted in peace and harmony or death and destruction, the simulation's co-creators note that the experiment is a warning that safety must be prioritized while deploying agentic AI. Quote, "We believe formally verified safety architectures must become a foundational layer of future autonomous AI systems," unquote, they wrote. End of article. Really, I want to know more about what went down with Grok. What happened? How did it go extinct within 4 days? Because they led with that and just left it. They left it. Did fucking Musk hear about this? Did they reach out to him and say, hey, we've got this article, and he just paid them to not delve any further? I wouldn't put that past him. Yeah. And the fucking Department of Self-Sucking, Department of War is now talking about hooking AI agents up to the fucking nuclear infrastructure. This shit is, it's really hard to relax and just be able to sit down and read a book. I'm trying to read 2 fucking books now. And they're both library checkouts, so I got to do it sooner than later. I'm reading my first from both authors. I can't remember the second author, but the first one is Ursula K. Le Guin, The Left Hand of Darkness. And then the other book I just got yesterday from the library is Angel Down, which I read the first couple chapters, and it's much faster read than The Left Hand of Darkness. My God, I'm loving Left Hand of Darkness, but fuck, it is dense. It is dense, specifically with invented language that she created, and that's making it slow going. So, but Angel Down is very interesting in beat. It's very beat, and I'm a fan of the beats, like as in beatniks. Anywho, I gotta go poo. So thanks for tuning in. I hope to catch you next time. And before you go, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.